I will now invite the Faris family to come forward. And it's a telling story, and each one of you, as I said in my opening remarks, need to be grateful and proud of the contribution that each one of you have made to bring this family here to Canada. A remarkable journey, a journey of torture, a journey of pain, a journey of ache. And as they come forward, not only was there a tragedy that they had to displace themselves out of their country of birth, but in that journey, they lost their father. Sad commentary, adding insult to injury in a sense. But faith and resolve and your commitment stood steadfast in bringing them here. I introduce to you the mother, Farhat Faris, Ania Faris, the daughter, Hasroon Faris, the eldest son, and Joy Faris, the baby of the family. I will now invite Ania Faris to say a few words and give true testimony of their painful journey.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank God that I'm here safely and happily with all of you. And I'm very, very thankful to all of you who have helped us in the past year and joined the ICV last year to help us, and we are the result of your help. Thank you so much to all of you. 4 years back, we used to live in Karachi, Pakistan. My father was a male nurse and he used to work in Aga Khan Hospital, Karachi. He was a hard-working man, and due to his hard works, his Muslim colleagues used to jealous of his work. So once they were quarreling with my father and told him that convert to Islam, accept Islam, because you should convert Islam, you're doing good in your job and we want you to convert to Islam, accept Islam. He refused, and their colleagues said that now that you have refused to convert to Islam, you have to face serious consequences. So my father came home and he didn't tell us that this happened at his job. And my two brothers used to go with me to school. We used to go to evening school at Trinity Methodist in Karachi. So we were coming back from school in the evening around 5:30. Someone came out of the car and grabbed my wrist and started pushing me in a car, and they were trying to kidnap me. On that, I started shouting and calling people from here and there to help me. Everyone gathered around, and they were not doing anything, they were not helping me, but they just gathered around. So those kidnappers, those men ran away. Later, they came to our home and said that we stopped going to school, my father stopped going to job because he knew this is because of his refusal to convert to Islam. This is happening with us. So he stopped going to job, we stopped going to school. We were so much in terror that we were just locked up in one room. And later, after 3 years, after 3 days when this happened, somebody knocked at the door and my father went out to see who's at the door. And there were 4 to 5 Muslim men and one cleric with them, Muslim cleric, who was approximately 70 years old Muslim man. And he told my father that we will follow you everywhere, you cannot run. And you have to marry your daughter with me. And he was 70 years old. And he said that all your family have to accept Islam. At that situation, my father said that, okay, after 3 days, I will marry my daughter to you and all of our family will convert to Islam. As they went away, we just took all of our belongings and went to our relative's home that was near our home. When we told them that this happened to us and this is the problem with us and we are very depressed and we are in such terror that we don't know where to go. They said you cannot live here for long, not this day too, because if you will live here, our family will be in danger too. So they said arrange anything for you and just go, because we can't let you here live here. We called our pastor and we told him that pastor, this is happening to us and we want help. He said that come to my house. So we lived there for a while and he arranged tickets for Thailand and all of our paperwork that pastor did. Because those terrorists, they were still following us and they were looking for us and they were asking people here and there that, do you know Anya and this family? They were telling all our features that these are the kind of people, have you seen them somewhere? So that pastor just arranged tickets and all of the things for us, and we went here in Bangkok. When we went to Bangkok, our situations were very serious because we went there in such a hurry that we didn't have much money, and all the money that we had, it was finished in just 2 months. And because my father was the male nurse, he didn't know how to work in factory. But a friend of my father told him that I'll give you a job in a factory where I work. It was illegal to work in Bangkok because Bangkok is not signatured with UNHCR, and we were there as an asylum seeker, and we didn't have much money to get the visa. So my father started working. My father started working there in the factory illegally at the night time because police could see him in the morning and he could put him in the jail. So my father started working in the night, and he was such in depression that he chopped his 3 fingers working in the factory because he didn't know how to work in a factory. So after that, the owner of the factory took him to the hospital. They did the first aid treatments, but these treatments were not that good that he has to be. They told them that if you want the proper medication and the proper treatments, it will cost more than $1,000. So we didn't have that much money, and we went home like that only. And due to that, his left arm was turning black, and it was becoming very thinny. So in a week only, he had 2 times he said that I'm having pain on my chest. So I thought it's maybe because of depression, because he was so depressed and his medications were not proper, and because he didn't even have the proper painkillers, because when you have chopped your fingers, it's very severe, the pain is very severe. You need proper medication and proper painkillers for that injury, and we didn't have those medications. So day by day, his medication were getting finished, and whatever he had, and his situation was getting worse. And he told me that Anya, I'm having pain on my chest 2 times, and the 3rd time when he had pain, it was heart failure. Doctor asked me that did he had any heart problem before this, but he never complained me that I have heart problem. In just 1 week, he had pain 2 times, and the 3rd pain was his heart failure. And after my father died, we didn't have anyone to support us. We were more alone, more worse, and more in depression because he was the main member of our family and he died. We didn't have any support, anyone to look except then God. We prayed for months and months. After 6 months, Mr. Peter Bhatti came to Thailand, Bangkok, to visit Pakistani asylum seekers. He went to each and every area where Pakistani people were living, and he talked to them personally, each family, each member. And when he met our family, he just cried, and he felt very bad for us, and he consoled us that he can feel our pain, and he said from now on you don't have to worry for anything. I will support you financially in everything. Since then he has been helping us financially, and he promised me that I will get you out of this hell. And since that time, it's been 2 years now that he promised me, and now I'm here. And he made his promise, and I'm also very thankful to all of you who came last year to help us to contribute in our pain, and we are very thankful to you. And now that you have come again for another family, I believe that whatever you all are working, God is watching you all, and He will fulfill your everything. Because if you help someone who need, God will fulfill your needs. And I'm very thankful to all of you, God and ICV and Mr. Peter Bhatti and all of his teams, and the family we have here, Natasha Vaji and auntie and all of them. I'm very thankful to them, because when we come here, it's not just money and home, anything, not that, but we want love, because we have gone through so much. And when we meet someone who says that we are your family, and they really made us their family, and I'm thankful to them, because now we have a family. Thank you all. Thank you.